Okay, Naji, we're going to take a look at this from a few different angles and slow it down on a few things just to make some primary points. I want you to notice how much you've kind of gotten almost exaggerating that drive through, but also when you drive, you're kind of looking at what you're doing there. I want you to just tuck the chin down a little bit until you can feel those hips up at the surface. I can see you trying to do that 2B kick, but I don't see, because of the amount you're trying to drive from the shoulder, I don't see kind of a lateral drive from one hip to the opposite armpit and shoulder right through the body when you're trying to make that work. When you pick up the pace here, I do really like where you're driving to, but because you have that tendency to want to rush through on the shoulder, sometimes you draw on the arm to make that happen. A little bit more of a flick from the kick, doesn't have to be huge, but a little more from a flick from the kick will help you feel a stronger connection right across, diagonally across the body for that drive. So here's another shot from above before our workshop. I notice on the breathing one, you tend to, on the right side, lift more of the head up, and that dropped the left arm down a little bit early. So it's just some of those things, the patience that we're working on something like that is still going to be mainly a primary focal point from your first workshop, but that doesn't mean it can't be enhanced still. Okay. I want you to notice also that sometimes your legs don't rotate nearly as much as your shoulders do, and I'd like you to make those legs rotate equally with the hips. Now let's take a look at some of those same things after the workshop. As you come through, I do see, the legs still drag behind a little bit here and there, but I do see cleaner body lines across, and you'll see that there's a little bit less of the thunk into the water and more of the whole body working as a unit to drive from side to side. To you, this probably felt really, really wide, but it still was a much cleaner angle, still a clean edge on each side. I want you to realize that feeling wide is more just coming off the edge, and you still have some work to do on getting an elbow lead recovery going through. You have a tendency to want to pull all the way back, and notice how the elbow gets locked back there and the hand swings around. We really want to focus on making sure that that elbow continues its path instead of stopping while the hand pulls up ahead. That elbow should be in the lead until you're at least past the shoulder, if not a little bit farther than that. And that will set up a perfect position for slicing, falling into the next side, even falling onto that wider track each time. It's just basically you feel this tipping point, you know exactly where it's going to be, but that opportunity will only be there if you allow that elbow to lead all the way around. Now, this same thing again from underwater. I really like where those arms are driving to. Again, let's just keep that head tucked. And you can see even the slight changes you've made through the workshop have pulled those hips up a little bit sometimes. But those recoveries are what's sinking the hips down here and there. The need for a little bit more drive on the hips, but that recovery, when you tuck that elbow back and lift the hand around while keeping the elbow back, that's spending a lot of time with the elbow in a very unbalanced moment. Sorry if my voice is cracking up a bit here. It's where I've been sick since the workshop. So this time I want you to notice when the hip dips. Okay, you'll see that after you drive through, you're in actually pretty clean balance, but when you recover that elbow up and it pauses directly above the hips, that's where you have that dipping motion. And that's a very clean breath. You should get more out of that by not having a pause. I'd say don't even allow that hand to turn in towards the body at the end there, almost to a skidding position, but let the hand have a clean path back with the rest of the arm so it can flow around and down as opposed to stacking with the body and then trying to go around and down. It's tough to get that motion going if you come into a tight skate.